Hello everyone, this is Medical Gateway, and in this part we're going to study regarding the hemoglobin abnormalities. So we have two types of hemoglobin abnormalities which we will discuss in this part. One is the sickle cell anemia and the other one is thalassemia. So what happens in sickle cell anemia? So in sickle cell anemia, there is hemoglobin S. So what is hemoglobin S? Previously we have studied hemoglobin A, hemoglobin A2, hemoglobin F. Now this is hemoglobin S. This is a specialized hemoglobin which is present in the cases of sickle cell anemia. Now hemoglobin S consists of 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. And now you will say that this is perfectly normal, having 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. But just focus here. On this beta chain, there is a small s, which means that this is not the normal beta chain. This is the beta chain which is giving rise to the hemoglobin S, which will cause sickle cell anemia. Now, what is the difference between a normal beta chain and this beta chain of the sickle cell hemoglobin? Now, in this beta chain, the amino acid glutamic acid is replaced by amino acid valine. So, amino acid valine replaces the normal amino acid glutamic acid in the beta chains. And whenever this happens, this will not form the normal hemoglobin, it will form the hemoglobin S, which is the sickle cell hemoglobin. Now, how this chain and how this hemoglobin behaves differently from the normal hemoglobin. Now, what happens is that whenever this hemoglobin is exposed to low oxygen, this hemoglobin will be converted into elongated crystals inside the RBCs. Now, whenever this hemoglobin S, is exposed to low oxygen concentration, this hemoglobin will be converted into elongated crystals inside the RBCs. Now, these elongated crystals will get stuck in the capillaries. Now, these RBCs will lose their normal biconcave disc shape because of the elongated crystals present inside them. And these RBCs are prone to get stuck in the smaller capillaries. And when these get stuck in the smaller capillaries, then these RBCs will rupture. Okay, and these RBCs will rupture and are eaten by the macrophages, giving rise to decreased in the RBC count, giving rise to anemia. Okay, so what is happening? That glutamic acid is being replaced by valine, which makes this hemoglobin S to be converted into crystals on exposure to low oxygen. Now, these crystals, whenever these crystals are formed inside the RBC lose their normal biconcave disc shape, and these RBCs are converted into a sickle shape because of the elongation of hemoglobin crystals inside the RBCs. So this is the RBC. Okay, now, and it has converted into a sickle shape. Now, what exactly is a sickle? Well, sickle is used in the gardening, so we're talking about that sickle. Okay, now, so this is the shape of the sickle. Now, RBCs are converted into this. Now, this RBC can easily get stuck in smaller capillaries, and when an RBC gets stuck in a smaller capillary, its fate is to get ruptured and got eaten by monocyte macrophage system. Okay, and when they will rupture, this will result in a decrease in the number of the RBCs, causing anemia. And because of its specific sickle shape, this condition is known as sickle cell anemia. Okay, now one interesting thing which is taking place here is that whenever the smaller capillaries get stuck by these elongated crystals of sickle-shaped RBCs, now smaller capillaries are blocked. Now, when these smaller capillaries are blocked, because of this blockage, there will be further reduction in the blood supply to the cells. And this reduction in the blood supply to the organ will cause additional low oxygen in those tissues, and this additional low oxygen will cause more sickling, more production of sickle-shaped RBCs. More production of sickle-shaped RBCs will lead to more RBCs getting stuck up in the capillaries. More capillaries are blocked, which will result into more reduced supply in the blood, in the tissues, and further reduced blood supply will cause an additional low oxygen. So this cycle will keep going on and on. The low oxygen causing sickling and the sickle-shaped cells are further decreasing the oxygenation of the tissues by blocking the blood vessels. So this is a positive vicious cycle which gets pretty bad. So this condition is known as sickle cell crisis. Now, in sickle cell crisis, there will be severe anemia, there will be severe blockade of blood vessels. So this condition is also known as vaso-occlusive crisis. The vaso-occlusive, that blood vessels are being occluded by these abnormal RBCs. Now, in the vaso-occlusive crisis, as the smaller capillaries are getting stuck by these RBCs, it will result into increased amounts of body aches and pains. It will result into fatigue, breathlessness. Because of the stoppage of the blood, there will be swelling and pooling of the blood, and then there might be blurred vision if the blood vessels of the eye are involved with this blockage of small capillaries. So this is sickle cell crisis. Okay, so this is sickle cell anemia. This is a very important topic. This is commonly asked in exams and MCQs. The other one is the thalassemia. So we are discussing about alpha-thalassemia. We will not go in too much of detail of thalassemia. We'll just keep the topic to the details which are written in the Guyton. So now alpha-thalassemia has two types of hemoglobin. One is hemoglobin H. Now, from the name, it is obvious that alpha-thalassemia involves the alpha chain. Now, in one case, that alpha chain is missing. Now, if the alpha chain is missing, it gets replaced by two more beta chains. So that is known as hemoglobin H. So in alpha-thalassemia, hemoglobin H might appear. So when the hemoglobin and the structure of the hemoglobin H has 4 beta chains. It is not 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. This is alpha chains are missing, and all of the 4 chains are beta chains. And when all of the 4 chains are beta chains, this is known as hemoglobin H. Okay. Then we have hemoglobin baths. If there are no alpha chains and no beta chains, then all of the 4 chains will be 4 gamma chains. If there are 4 gamma chains, then this hemoglobin is known as hemoglobin baths. Okay, so in alpha-thalassemia, there might be 2 types of hemoglobin present. One is H hemoglobin, and the other one is hemoglobin baths. So hemoglobin H has 4 beta chains, and hemoglobin baths have 4 gamma chains. Okay, so these were the hemoglobin abnormalities written in the Guyton. So this is it. See you in next part.